Little Feat and Dixie Chicken, a 2-for-1 double album I bought from Oxfam in Chesham for £1.99. For a while Little Feat were just about the hippest band around. They were formed by a guitarist called Lowell George, who had been playing in Frank Zappa's Mother's Invention. He formed Little Feat with the Mother's bass player, a drummer from his previous band and a keyboard player called Bill Payne. Lowell George had written a song called Willing, and apparently Zappa heard it and suggested it was so good that George needed to leave the Mothers and form a band of his own. Well, that's one story. The other is that Willing is a drug smuggling song, and Frank Zappa heavily disapproved of narcotics, whereas George was well known to be quite partial to them. He also apparently had little feet, though the band name is spelt F-E-A-T. Willing was covered by many artists, including Linda Ronstadt. I heard it being covered by a few of the bands playing on the London pub scene at the time. It is the kind of song that makes you want to see if there is more where it came from. Willing is on the first album, however they recorded another version of it for the second album, which is not in this set. I do have that version on a widely available CD compilation album. Their other song that was well known at the time I first became interested in them was Dixie Chicken, which is on the other LP. Little Feat's success in their heyday was largely due to the strength of Lowell George's songwriting. His songs are never obvious and often take surprising turns. They also had a touch of funk, a big slice of country, particularly the piano, and acoustic folk. Music from the Big Pink type proto-Americana. I had never heard the first album before. It is much more rocky than I expected. It also has some old-fashioned down and dirty harmonica-driven blues and a piano ballad with strings. The Dixie Chicken album sees them getting much more funky and more New Orleans jazzy rhythm and blues. They let some of those swinging, rolling Dr. John-style good times roll with even an Alan Toussaint song to show exactly where they were coming from and going to. By then they had a second guitarist and a fuller sound. The other thing that stands out and defines the sound they became famous for is the addition of congas. In places it reminded me of something which might be Sly and the Family Stone. Good songs, well played, excellently produced, and a perfect Sunday morning listen. Lowell George died of a heart attack in 1979 at the age of 34. He had disbanded Little Feat because he did not think Bill Payne was good enough, and he had started a solo career. I actually think that Bill Payne's piano is a highlight of the Little Feat sound. The rest of the band reformed in 1984. Little Feat, their eponymous first album, and Dixie Chicken in a 2-for-1 album deal.